Thank you and good afternoon. And I promise I will stay near to the mic. If someone from acoustics can't figure out how to use the sound system, we're in trouble. It is my pleasure to be here this afternoon, and we are talking about attracting, retaining, and advancing a broader student population. There are 5 of us who will be talking this afternoon, but rest assured we also have some tasks for you. And the 5 people who are here today, besides me, there are 4 people here on the podium. The 5 of us together form a large segment of a team of people who are working on a department-level curriculum reform grant from NSF that includes 8 schools, and I will be saying more about that in just a little bit. I will be talking first to give you an overview of that project, and then Ian Patterson will be speaking, and his talk, I think, has the best title of any talk during this session. It's called Exploring Not Creating Stress. So Ian will be talking about some of the applications work we're doing as part of the curriculum reform grant. Ian is chair of mechanical engineering at Michigan State University. Then Kostas Chassapis, the chair of mechanical engineering at Stevens Institute of Technology, will be talking about some of the work he has done, really a case study on the successful revisions that they've made to their freshman class. At that point, we will then take a break, and we'll come back and talk about assessment. And we have 2 assessment presentations. First, Pat Campbell, the president of Campbell Kibler Associates, Inc., will be talking about what some of the findings are from the work we are now doing on the department-level curriculum reform grant. And then Darryl Guillaume from Cal State Los Angeles will be talking about some wonderful work he has done on continuous assessment and development of the mechanical engineering program there. So with that, by way of introduction, let me get us started. I want to really just give you an overview of the main program we've been working on to enhance diversity through curriculum reform. And I want to begin this, by talking about why we should care about diversity. Now, I'm going to assume that everyone in the audience is, of course, well aware of this information, but let me go through it quickly to make sure we're all on the same page. Today, diversity is a business necessity. With the globalization of business, that means we need to have an employee base which is comfortable and accepted in a wide variety of cultures. We need a broad range of perspectives in order to do design correctly. That's already been mentioned today. We need a larger pool of engineering candidates to meet the needs of business. And this is something we tend to forget to say, it's the right thing to do. Education in the United States was founded on the premise that it was a public good. And by working toward diversity, we are allowing more people the opportunity to be creative and to have high-paying and really fun jobs. The trends in higher education are really interesting. If you look at higher education, the average age of students is rising. Student populations in general are becoming more diverse. I'm not sure that all of you know that in the year 2000, the majority population in kindergartens in the US was minority, what we used to call minority. So we've really made a transition in demographics. Women are increasing dramatically in some fields, but not in others. We already have women as the majority population in colleges and universities, but not in engineering. By the year 2010, which is really just around the corner, it is estimated that women will earn more degrees than men at all levels, including the PhD. If you look at the past decade, 1990 to 1999, Hispanic enrollment increased 68% in higher education, and African American by nearly 1/3. If you now look at the current numbers in engineering, the engineering workforce is still just about 90% male and close to 95% majority. So it's not really representative of the population at large. And that causes all sorts of problems. Men are 5 times more likely than women to choose engineering as their major, and the retention rates still show a gap at undergraduate engineering between majority populations and minority populations. I've given you the numbers here. It's the difference of 62% for retention rate versus 39%, and that's quite significant. When you look at the faculty, and it's largely represented by what you see in this room, the average engineering faculty are still about 95% male. So there's really a long way to go before we achieve the diversity we would like to have. If you look at student statistics in engineering, from 1998 to 2002, the percent of women in engineering, earning engineering degrees, actually dropped. We had been climbing, we hit about a plateau at around 20%, and now we've dropped and we are roughly 19%. At the same time, the fraction of students who are African American, Hispanic, and Native American dropped from 17% to 14%. So things are going the wrong way. In mechanical engineering, we are roughly 16% of the engineering workforce, but about 19% of the engineering degrees, which you could interpret a lot of ways. My preference is to say that that means the profession is growing. Okay? It means it's growing because those students are getting degrees and they're going out and getting jobs. But if you look at these degrees, in 2004, only 11% of them went to women, and the fraction that went to minorities was about 12%. These happen to be the lowest numbers of all of the big engineering disciplines. We're lower than civil engineering, chemical engineering, and electrical engineering. Okay? So keep that in mind. We have nothing to pat ourselves on the back for. If you look at other professions, just anticipating the reactions I usually get, in 2004, the entering medical school classes were majority female, first time ever, and they are still majority female. They have been since then. They are very diverse in terms of ethnicity. Law school is also about half female. Business schools are over 30% female. I don't have diverse racial statistics, ethnicity statistics there. They're hard to come by. But the bottom line here is that engineering is really alone in its lack of diversity. So it's time to do something about that. The way we got involved as a group was that there was a forum from the National Academy of Engineering called the Forum for Diversity in the Engineering Workforce. And among others, Gary Downey from Virginia Tech and his students studied the NSF coalitions and categorized their articles and found that none of them were looking at curriculum. So the reason we got involved is because we figured out finally that everybody working on the issue of diversity, and there are a lot of people doing it in all of the engineering fields, they were really focusing on things such as the social atmosphere, how people learn, how we should teach, and those are fine. I don't want to suggest there's anything wrong with that, but somebody's got to focus on what we are teaching and what is the technical content. And it must be faculty who are engaged in that problem because we own that curriculum. So that's really how we got involved.